name's Craig Spector. My real nightmare is a dream that I had from earliest childhood until I was about 8 years old. And the dream was always the same. And I would awaken from it screaming in a state of abject terror. But I wouldn't remember anything about it the next day. And so in the dream, I was surrounded. It was peace. I could hear people talking, just voices. I couldn't make out what they were saying, but it was just conversation, and everything was peaceful and quiet and gentle. And I'm moving toward the sounds, and then I saw this wire stretched across my field of vision. And as I got closer to the wire, I saw a butterfly. And the butterfly was flying just around the wire, around the wire. And I reached out to touch the butterfly. And as I did, the butterfly landed on the wire. And the moment it did, the wire snapped. And suddenly there was this rush, and I was buried alive. And I was smothered, and I couldn't see, I couldn't hear. I was screaming. I heard muffled screaming in my ears, and I was trapped. And that's when I always woke up. And I would be totally freaked out. And I would scream, thrash around, run out. I guess it was by the time I was old enough that I could actually run out of the house and almost into traffic. My parents needed to do something about this. And so my mother came to me and handed me this sheaf of typewritten pages. And they told a story. And as it happens, when I was a very young child, when I was maybe 10 months old, still a baby, not even a toddler, I had a horrible accident. And what happened was, one summer night in Richmond, Virginia, my family was having dinner, and I was just crawling around on the floor as my mother and my father and my sister and my brother all ate fried chicken. And they were talking about going to see a drive-in movie that night. And it was all just pleasant family conversation. And I was just on the floor at their feet. And while they were talking, I wandered away and I crawled into the kitchen. And in the kitchen, there was an electric skillet where they had prepared the fried chicken. And my parents had taken care to make sure the electrical cord, was between the counter and the refrigerator, so that nobody could grab a hold of it or nothing. And I reached in with my tiny little 10-month-old hand into that little space between the counter and the side of the refrigerator, and I grabbed the cord and I pulled it, and the entire electrical skillet with the hot oil flipped over and fell on me and landed on my head, landed on my face. I had managed to turn my face as it was coming down, and it crashed into me and basically covered my entire face from here to here and all the way back to my ear with hot oil. And I received second and third degree burns across my face. The pages that my mother had given me, she was an artist her whole life, and when she was younger, she had dabbled with being a writer. And so she had written a story in first person that she was going to try to sell to one of these periodicals like the Reader's Digest. And it was first person narrative, and it had a title like "My Baby Pulled a Pan of Frying Chicken Down on His Head." Yeah. And but it told the story from her point of view of what had happened to her child. And her child was me. And I saw the terrible thing that had happened to me through her eyes. Not just the accident itself, but then the aftermath of the accident and the long, difficult healing process. And two things happened as a result of that. One is I never had the dream again. Once I read that story and understood it, I could see how the images in my dream related directly to the experience that I had had. And the second thing that happened was that even at the age of 8, I instantly grasped the connection between the conscious and the subconscious mind. And that affected me as an artist and as a writer growing up. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Anyway, thanks a lot.